For Ms. Fiona Ma of the Board of Equalization.
Okay, we're live. All right. As Eric mentioned, I'm Tim Morland. I am Legislative Director for State Board of Equalization member Fiona Ma. We have done quite a bit of work on cannabis. Just to get you a little bit of background on how we got involved. First of all, actually, let's kind of want to discuss what the B.O.E. does. It's kind of one of these mysterious organizations. I think people in government know about it. But essentially, we collect sales and use taxes, and we administer about 32 different tax and fee programs around the state. We're a very peculiar body in the sense that we have 4 elected board members who represent the state of California. So they roughly represent about 10 million people apiece. And Fiona Ma's district is basically on the coast from the Oregon border all the way down to Santa Barbara. So it's a gigantic district with 10 million people. And as you know, that's predominantly most of the Emerald Triangle. So Fiona was elected in January of 2015, and one of the first things my chief of staff told me I would be working on is cannabis. And so I'm like, oh, interesting. Because I had never been to a dispensary, I had never been to a cultivation site. So I was like, this is going to be a very interesting process. So we created, it's kind of a joint effort between Fiona Ma and also Senator George Runner, who serves on the board as well, a cannabis compliance project in the B.O.E. Essentially, what the project started as was a way to find out who's out there, what kind of who's cultivating, what dispensaries are out there. Obviously, we took a crack at it. I think everybody knows that that's a very tough go for a lot of reasons that we can talk about later. But so we've been in this process, and then you know, as this legislation started going through the process, we became involved, and we were eventually in the legislation. We still are to some degree, but we definitely had a major role at the beginning. So we started working with all these great authors and staff on this issue, and I just want to really applaud them for their efforts. This was just a Herculean effort on their part to make this all happen. This was truly, someone should write a book about this someday, about this whole process, because this is how the legislative process works. This was something else. And I used to work in the legislature for 7 years, so I've kind of seen some stuff as well. So that's our basic history with cannabis, and from then on we've gotten involved. We've been on numerous tours. We've been to other states to see what they're doing as well, and probably go to a few more this year. Just to kind of tell you what the B.O.E. is doing as far as our role right now in implementation. We are in charge of track and trace in conjunction with the California Department of Food and Agriculture. So we have created an implementation team within the B.O.E. and it's very new. We're still working on issues and going through what we need to do to track this product and to track the revenue that's going to come from the product from this industry. That's one of our main goals for track and trace. And then really quick, I don't want to take a lot of time so we can get to our panelists. One of our big issues, and this is really started with the Cannabis Compliance Project, was to basically educate businesses on how to become compliant, because there were laws before. Every business needs a seller's permit. Every business needs to be licensed. Those are some basic things. And so we did a lot of outreach, and we're continuing to do a lot of outreach on seller's permits, resale certificates, just some basic stuff, but it's actually really important. And I would really like to thank this legislation for helping motivate people to get those seller's permits and to get licensed, because that's really what it did. In the month of December, I thought December was going to be it's vacation, it's towards Christmas, it's slowing down. Well, it did not slow down at all for us. It was constant calls about seller's permits. resale certificates and a bunch of other issues came up, and I thought that was great. I really want to see our numbers of how many people signed up for seller's permits in December, because I believe it's like a really big spike. And one of the issues, as you guys probably know, Fiona Ma is big about banking. That is a major issue. About 70% of the industry does not have access to banking. So this is obviously an issue for the B.O.E. because we collect sales and use taxes. We receive a lot of cash at our offices. For instance, about a month ago, we received a $400,000 sales tax payment at our San Francisco office, entirely in cash. It took 2 staff members 4 hours to process the payment. Actually, we had to call staff in Oakland to bring over another cash counter. It was that intense, it was that much cash. And it's not like it's in hundreds, it's in $20 bills, it's in small bills. But you know, it creates a public safety dilemma. Obviously, I don't think we want people walking around with that much cash. That is dangerous. But also, from our end, it puts our staff at danger too. Our offices aren't, you know, it's not the CHP, it's a tax office. we're not designed for that. And then also for auditing, most businesses have bank accounts. There's a paper trail. There's not a paper trail with this industry, for most of the industry. That doesn't exist. So hopefully, and we're gonna work on this year, and hopefully try to find solutions and what we can to making our procedures safer for industry and for our employees. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the panelists, and I'm just going to go by the agenda order. I think I've met most of you, but let's see. Sorry. And by the way, Fiona will be here later. So we have Aaron Mustaine from the State Water Resources Control Board. And then I'm representing Fiona Ma. John Lovell from law enforcement, our law enforcement advocate. Greg Anton, he's an attorney and champion of patients' rights. And then we have Paul Smith to my left. He's the regional counsel of rural counties. And then Eduardo Martinez, California Medical Association. Then Nate Bradley, the executive director of the California Cannabis Industry Association. And then Wayne Smith, deputy director of Bureau of Indian Affairs. And Tamar Todd, senior director of Legal Affairs and Drug Policy Alliance. So what we're going to do, actually we'll just go in order as far as you guys introducing yourselves and talking about the 2 things you want to see changed. We'll go like that. So